I think there's actually quite a lot that the legislature could be doing top down to eliminate institutional and structural racism in the body itself. Even just the recognition that it has been statistically proven that people are disadvantaged, treated poorly, and treated differently, not just during the stop, whether that stop was legitimate or not, but all throughout the system. As you saw in the incident in Starbucks, people were, on the request of a white woman, taken away for 8 hours and held for doing nothing more than waiting for a friend. So legislators' acknowledgement that this exists and needs to be addressed is a place to start. When I worked in New Mexico, part of what we did is we took a race and gender lens on policy. So every bit of policy that we worked on, we looked at and did a test to make sure that it was not somehow incidentally disadvantaging women or disadvantaging people that are underserved or disadvantaging people that are not Caucasian. And I think that this is a way that the legislature could start to address systemic and institutionalized racism. As far as policing, I think that there are many, many different places that are doing an effective job of bringing all sorts of different politicians, law enforcement, and people in the legal system together to work on solutions with people from the community, with community-informed and community-based research and community coalitions led by people who are impacted by this violence.
Okay, thank you. So I was impacted by this issue in a totally different way. I'm sort of the matriarch of my family. You can imagine that when you see my age running for office. And a couple years ago, I got a phone call that my cousin had been arrested and was in George Hill, the private prison not far from here. And so he had been sitting there for 3 days before they even bothered to call me and tell me. When I called to try to find him, they insisted that he was not there. It took 2 more days to identify him. They had his name spelled wrong in the system. And luckily, we finally helped them figure that out. He then sat in jail for 2 weeks, lost all of his jobs, and we had to come up with bail to get him out. In my opinion, we need to close private prisons and we need to change the bail system. Right now, if someone gets arrested and they get a bail of $3,000, say, and they, well, not $3,000, say $30,000, you need to put up 10% of that. That's $3,000. I don't know about you, but many people don't have $3,000 sitting around to go bail someone out. And while they sit in jail waiting for bail, they're losing their job, their families are waiting, and their lives are being destroyed over what? So we need to change bail and close private prisons. They would be my top 2 priorities.